Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Shedding Your Skin. Of course, we're not at my normal time because I screwed up and didn't realize that Penn State was playing at 3:30 today, and I am definitely watching that game. So here I am doing this to sort of appease the algorithm, and I didn't have time to do a pre-recorded video for 4 o'clock. So here I am. As always, support USARC. Boom. I am a bronze member. All right. Good morning, Rob. Thanks for tuning in. And everybody, if you are going to ship your reptiles and it's your first time or you want to try out a new company, try out Redline Shipping. You get 60% off your first 2 shipments with the code below, Robin60. Good morning, Keisha. How's it going? Patrick, thanks for tuning in. Yeah, so I don't really have too much planned. I was anticipating doing like a panel show, but then I realized once I had this set up, I couldn't go live at my normal time. So here I am. So I can give you guys some updates on some of the stuff that I have here. It's growing up. My 2 of my hatchlings are being like assist fed right now, so they're still tiny, but the other 2 are eating, and I may have them at Gettysburg next weekend. I'm not too sure, since I want to make sure they have a couple more meals in them. And I'm not sure whether or not I'm going to hold back this leopard. Good morning, Don. Thanks for tuning in. Let's see. Oh, I forgot their little tagline, better off red. But yeah, I've used them to ship out 1 animal, and I've gotten plenty of animals shipped through them. And I really like them. Great customer service. Yeah. All right, so here's at least my hatchling that is the best one that I hatched out this year. It's a leopard pastel female. I'm not sure whether or not I'm going to part with her. She doesn't have any hets, so that may be the reason. I do really like leopard, and I don't have too much of it in my racks. I have a spot nose leopard, possible het pied. It has a ringer. Pied wasn't in the pairing, but I think it may have come over with the leopard. I have a super pastel leopard butter male. That was the sire of this clutch. But I don't really have too much. I do have a blackhead leopard DG male coming in. So I think I'll be fine if I do choose to move on from her, since I can bring leopard into other projects rather quickly with those 2 males. But I'm still not quite sure, because I do like how it looks, and it's one of the things that pastel looks good in. So we'll see as it goes. And I may just hold on to some of these hatchlings as it's getting to the point where it's too cold to ship, so I'll just grow them up and try to move them in the beginning of the year or locally. Let's see what else. And here's the 2 that I got, well, actually 3 from Kai, just different shipments for various projects. This one is the gravel het clown, and I didn't have any gravel on the female side, which is nice, and I didn't have anything in with recessives. So this will be nice. I do have a highway male that I can throw to a clown to get some codoms into it, and then maybe do head-to-head or, some visual clown to her. I don't know yet. I still have time, since obviously she's a hatchling. But it has to be gravel because there's no yellow belly in the pairing, so that's nice. So, yeah, the plans for her are pretty open right now, but definitely something clown, obviously. And I may or may not do the highway too, because I don't want to, especially with a bunch of other codoms in there, I don't want to run into the issue where I don't know if it's gravel or yellow belly. And I don't want to, spend a bunch just to test all those animals. So I might just keep that separate for now, to where I get to the point where I like have to hit a super, or like I'll know, like when I paired my buddy's Ivory to my Bumblebee Spark, I knew that everything was yellow belly, and everything that had Spark was going to be a Puma, based on the parent. So I want to sort of work stuff like that where I know and there's really no guessing with the acts like supers. All right. And of course, as usual, my dog realizes that I'm doing this, and she's decided to play next to me, freak out a little bit. But here's another one I picked up from Kai. It's a little lighter right now. I think he's about to go into shed again, since he's had a few meals here. This one is a male GHI clown. I really do like how GHI brings the pattern back, and you can see with this color he's messing with my camera and the lighting, but it does bring the pattern a little bit back into clown, which I like. And he's a little bit darker when he's not about to go into shed. I feel like every time I show this guy off, he's in shed or close to it. But I really do like, I didn't have GHI, and I figured I got it in the clown because I only had one other male clown. So plenty of things I can do with him. Yeah, exactly. Stella knows I'm busy, and she wants attention. But yeah, with the GHI clown, I can take it to my pastel Enchi yellow belly clown and make visual clowns. So that may be something I can take it to the gravel hat I just showed. That would look pretty cool, I would think. And it would be a 50-50 shot of hitting visual clowns. So we'll see. It's just nice to have that, and I do have now I have GHI, and it's in a recessive that I'm working with. So we'll see. I have a time for some of these, as they're growing up, to sort of figure out what I'm going to do with them based on what I produce and what I bring in. Here's the other one, and this one I'm excited about. Probably going to get her shed tested. This one is a female ultramel, possible het for pied, but she's got pretty good tracks, and she did come from 100% pied to I think a visual. Yeah, because she's 66, and if you just saw that, my dog just threw the ball up there. So Kai thinks she'll prove out. I think it'll be the same. So I may or may not get her shed tested. I'll wait to see because if I'm producing something that, if I produce a visual ultra pied, then, I may not get her shed tested. I don't know yet, but she'll be ready in 2 years, hopefully. And given that it's a visual female ultramel, anything that I make that's het ultramel in the meantime with codoms and whatnot, I can go that route and sort of, hope that, the het pied will follow through. But it is nice to actually have a female ultramel, and not it's visual and it's not a het right now. So I mean that's nice. Definitely helps in that project. Yeah, I think so too. Usually it's a good indicator when pied is in the pairing, and I actually do think that the sire from her is the male I picked up from Kai as well. Good morning, Stan. Thanks for tuning in. I don't know how much longer I'm gonna go since I didn't really have anything planned to discuss, and I don't want to take away from my show on Tuesday where I'm talking more about stuff that goes on in the community. I don't want to take away from doing that. But that's the stuff that's in the hatchling rack right now that's growing up that I'm excited about. There'll be some new stuff coming in after next week and then towards the end of the year. So I'm excited for that, getting into DG with some codoms and some possible other recessives. I'm definitely going to test those to see if the one is het hypo and the other one is het pied. That'll be exciting. There might be another DG that I'm getting. I have to discuss with the breeder that I'm getting the male from, because he offered me a female from that clutch. So I'll have to see what that's going to be, whether or not I can work that out. So that's going to be exciting. And I didn't really want to get into another recessive project, but that one, I really like it, and it wasn't something I was working with previously, and it's something I wish I would have gotten into years ago. I'm happy that I decided, to work ultramel, because I'm looking and not many people are working that, at least the way that I intend to. So that is, nice. And it's just nice to have some other stuff that you can work into projects that other people may not be working. So this one, hopefully she'll go next year. Yeah, sometimes it something just happens, and you're like, okay, this is an opportunity that I don't want to miss, because I've done that before, where I've seen something and been like, no, I don't want to do that, or I already had purchased something that was, ironically, now stuff that I'm getting rid of. So buying 4 snakes instead of buying 1 type of thing. But that was back when the logic was, breed snakes make babies. Now it's sort of changed. But this one, hopefully, she'll be ready next year. This is the pied 100% het ultramel, and really nice low white pattern here. But I don't know if the camera's going to pick it up. But there's like a real faint orange along the side gut. It's a little brighter than the camera showing off, but it is really cool. So you can really see that het ultramel influence, I would call it, because there's nothing else that is in the pairing for her. So to my knowledge, there can't be any codoms in here. So hopefully she's ready, and she'll give me my shot at hitting the double visual a lot sooner than what I was planning. So Kai really helped me out with these animals and getting me further ahead in my project here with the ultramel pieds, because I was pairing and it didn't go. I had paired this male. Hey, Nicole, I didn't have to correct you. Good morning. Good morning, Jordan. Thanks for tuning in. So I had originally paired this ultramel pinstripe male to my pied, and it didn't go. So in discussing with Kai, he offered up some other animals. I had already had the girl I had just showed, but she was hatchling at the time. So time growing up. So that put me ahead a little bit, but I was still using this male. So I would be able to make 100% het ultramels or visual ultramel het pieds or double hets, instead of starting with double hets. So now next year I will have the ability to do a visual ultramel het pied to a visual pied het ultramel. And here's the proven breeder male. He's got to get some meals in him here. This is the one I got from Kai. I'd like to see him eat a little more before I start pairing him. But he's only going to, I think, 2, so I'm not too concerned. He's definitely going to my pied, so I can shoot for visual pied 100% ultramel stuff. So I'm excited for that. And he may go to my het pied. I'm not entirely sold on that, because it is a het-to-het. So probably everything's going to be 100% het ultramel, but it's a little bit more of a gamble on hitting the pieds. So I don't know what I'm going to do with her. But she is, 100% het pied. I don't know if I want to do the champagne pairing again. I could. Yeah, everything pretty much from that pairing is going to wind up being a normal snake with paws hets. So I don't really know what I'm going to do with her this year. I'd like to have a visual pied male at least. So hopefully, next I'll have a visual pied het ultramel male that I can grow up, because I don't have any visual pied males right now. So hopefully that happens. I can hold that back and at least work something with her, or just pick up maybe something at Gettysburg. Catches my eye, and I can get something with a couple of codoms and visual male pied. Good morning. Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, I know it's not my normal time, but I wanted to get this live done so I don't take off the algorithm. I actually have something that's not pre-recorded, or where I get to interact. And next week I will be at Gettysburg, so it's going to be interesting there. Since when my live is is like when the show ends out there. So I don't know what I'm gonna do. I may just go live, walk around. I don't know. I hate being that guy that's walking around with a camera, bumping into everybody that I know or other people's tables and whatnot and filming their stuff. It may just be live from the table I'm working at with Chris and Brad. So we'll see. We have a little portion of one of Chris's tables. I only have 5 snakes there, so I don't really know what I'm going to do regarding the live for next week. It may just be pre-recorded, and then I'll do a little bit like a video during the week about the show and recap on Tuesday. I don't know, but I miss doing these actually live, because when I do them pre-recorded, I don't really get to interact aside from being in the chat. And if I'm actually busy during that time when the pre-record's airing, I'm not in the chat, so it's not really, I might as well just put out a video and call it a video instead of a live, or in this time slot. But anyway, so I talked about that stuff. So I'll have 3. One proven breeder female and 2 that are pretty close to size. One's the proven breeder's the butter that went this year. The other 2 females are the super pastel and the black pastel. They're both hovering around 1,000 or so grams. Definitely old enough to be bred. So if you stop by Gettysburg, you can get those for a steal. And I'll also have 2 of my holdback, or not 2 of my hatchlings from last year, champagne pastel male, and a pastel possible hide female at the table. So it's only 5 snakes, so I didn't want to, go all out and buy the whole table. I talked to Chris, and we felt that the best option was just to share part of his table. But here's the pastel possible hide. She also has tracks and a little ringer. So I think she'll prove. And I honestly, I don't want more pastel stuff, but if she doesn't move, I don't think I'll have a problem hanging on to her and seeing if she does prove out. Because she does look like she is going to be hep hide. So we'll see. Good morning, DJ. Thanks for tuning in. Let's see. All right, we've got 8 people. I'm actually surprised so many people tuned in, since it was very, very last minute, me actually going live early this morning. Yeah, hopefully, I don't want to not pair anything to this girl. This is the one that produced my clutch from last year with that cool champagne hep hide. But she's got the tracks too. So I really would want to put something visual pied to her. But I mean, she is big and she is a proven breeder, and she does have a pretty cool pattern for normal. I mean, there's really no alien heads or anything. So maybe seeing her produce something would be cool. Maybe a dinker project. I don't know. But she is big. She only gave me 5 eggs last time, but she's the biggest girl I have. I think 2,500 grams, something like that. So maybe maybe my lace is ready. I'll do that. I don't know. Or I can do the champagne again and hope that my odds are a little better not hitting champagne, and I hit more of, or if I do, I hit the more hep hides. So we'll see. I mean, the alternative is just putting the ultra hep hide and hoping, hoping that I hit some hides, because everything would be, had ultra mel, and then it's for the most part probably going to shows and things like that, or wholesaling it, where I miss. So it's the main reason why I don't want to necessarily do that pairing. I could also, if I'm ambitious, do my clown possible het hypo to her, and hold back and test the entire clutch and hold back the triples if there are any. So I don't know. As far as what I'm pairing to her, I could do the highway, because then I wouldn't get any normals. Everything would be either gravel or yellow belly, and then I could see what what has tracks, and then test that out. So that actually might be the route I go. Because then if I do hit a het yellow belly or het gravel female, then I can hold that back and work it into the ultra pied project. So that might be the route to go. Because then I'm not hitting any normals. We'll see. And I'm also sort of just talking this out in front of you all, since I'm trying to be more intentional with my pairings, and I don't want to have anything where I'm questioning myself on what I produce. So if I can, because if I'm testing for het pied, I'll probably also test for yellow belly, so I'll be able to know if it's gravel or yellow belly if I can't visually discern. So we'll see. But yeah, I'm excited. I don't know if I'm doing too many pairings outside of like ultra pied or, the projects that I'm working on. I don't know if I'm going to do a Blue-Eyed Lucy clutch or a spider clutch or something like that. Like I don't know if I'm going to do that, something where it's just stuff that I'm automatically knowing whatever I produce I'm going to have for sale. So the stuff I want to have for sale is where I miss on stuff that I want to work on. So I'm rearranging, my logic behind my pairings. So, if I miss, I miss. I'm not going to throw two snakes together just to produce babies, because then, as I saw last year, and I probably will see with some of these hatchlings that I produced this year, they're just going to sit in my rack until I move them for something a lot less than what I would want. But like a $20 for a pastel male, that I'll take it to get rid of to sell the snake, but it's not, that's not ideal. So I don't want to have a lot of animals where I'm doing that to them. I'd rather it be like a pastel double het where it's like, okay, now it can either go as a pet or maybe a breeder that is working that double het project would be interested. And I know people don't like pastel, but it works in a lot of stuff. So, but I will probably do finally another actual video coming up as I start my pairings for the coming year, and I'll go into more detail there since it's a little bit better of a platform. I don't want to go too much longer as I still have to eat breakfast and get ready for my day, and I don't want to bump into Elias's live, which is in about a half an hour. So I'll probably hop off here around 10 my time, because I have some stuff that I need to do today before I head to my parents to watch the football game. Well, pastel gets unnecessary hate in my opinion. Maybe I'll rant on this topic and then I'll be done. So people tend to hate on things that don't look good in certain things, right? Now, nobody's gonna turn down a 5-gene codon visual just because it has pastel, unless they already have that sort of stuff, in their projects. I got a Enchi yellow belly pastel clown female, and she's bright. It looks great. Thanks, Keisha. So yeah, pastel does look good in acid. It looks good in certain things. So, you want to be conscious of what you're pairing, obviously. But, if you're putting something with pastel into something that already know it doesn't look good, and then don't be surprised when, it doesn't move. There are certain genes, morphs that do certain things. So don't act surprised when you put some of them together and it turns out not looking great. It's like wearing mismatched clothing, right? It's like, okay, I'm going to wear a bunch of camo stuff, but I'm also going to wear like a flannel shirt that's going to, mess up. This pattern doesn't really go with something else that's patterned, right? Morning, Phil. Thanks for tuning in. So we're putting certain things into projects and, maybe expecting different results. So yeah, pastel can brown out, but it can also enhance certain things like DG lace, xanthic. It works where it works. So I would avoid working in certain projects, and I'm trying to do that here. And sort of it's difficult with having a couple supers, but I do have super pastel in hypo, so that works for me. I have it in acid, that works for me. So I mean, I have it paired at least for stuff I want to hold back with stuff where it works. And there's a couple other things that people say look like garbage in other animals, but it's not that big of a deal. I mean, pastel has been around for 30 years. Of course, it's going to be everywhere. A lot of these genes that came in the beginning of the industry, yeah, they're going to be plentiful. So, and if pastel came out today, it'd be very hot. Or if it shows up in a project JKR is working with, or somebody else makes some awesome combo something, then it's going to be popular again. So, there's a couple genes that have were popular, then fell out of favor, then came back into favor. So I just don't get it, and that talk sort of turns off people that are just getting in. So if we have everybody ragging on pastel or other genes codoms that have been around forever, it's going to turn them off. Oh well, I'm not going to buy that because so and so said it was as Phil alludes to down here, the original bird food. But people were spending a lot of money back in the day for pastels. It's just been around so long that it's sort of everywhere. We see that with clown, and it also doesn't help with clown that a lot of projects where people got in the past 3 years were pushing stuff that was clown heavy. But yeah, I'm trying to scale back what I'm producing that's pastel. But yeah, it's a turnoff for people. Now I get it with spider, right? I get that. Spider is a beautiful animal, but it has issues. That's its own demon. As far as the discussion on that, you could do a whole show, a whole YouTube series about spider complex. So I get erring on the side of caution with that one, but if I'm just getting into ball pythons, there's no problem with a dang pastel. You might turn off that pet keeper that wants to turn hobbyist by just knocking on a specific gene when they could use that to get started. I don't know. That's just my 2 cents on it. Don't knock things just because somebody said it once and they're somewhat popular. I don't know. And it's like we got the fight over Blitz, Hurricane, Trick, all these things that are similar. Monarch, Ultramel. It's like just stop. Breed what you're going to breed. One can be better than the other, but it's like we're treating these like sports teams. It's like I was going to use a Cowboys Eagles analogy with Monarch and Ultramel, but I don't want to tick some people off if I match up the wrong one. But yeah, it's work what you want to work. Obviously, some things are going to sell better, some things are going to work better. But breed what you like and try to here's like the trajectory of the hobby. Try to like branch off and do something a little different. So when if I'm looking for let's say an Ultramel clown combo, and I see a bunch of stuff with what's known to have worked in there, and you have something like Bongo or something else that's not really in the mainstream that like the people at the top are pairing, that might catch my eye because that's different, right? Well, okay, so Phil will say it. He says the Eagles are definitely Ultramel, which means they're the better one. At least per Eagles fans, right? So I would have done the other way around, but I'm a Cowboys fan, and we can fight about that tomorrow. But yeah, I think we have an issue in this hobby of all chasing the same thing, right? Somebody produces, or Cabelco produces Batman, Bob Peg. Everybody got into the chasing that now. So now everything related to that project is in abundance. So you have to realize that if everybody's making the same thing, oh, hush, Phil. There's going to be a lot. It's going to drive the price down, and it's not going to be as interesting. People are going to be sitting on stuff. So if you work your projects differently with different codons, different recessive things like that, and make something that stands out, you're going to succeed. So that's where I'll end, because I don't want to go on a sports rant. And I don't want to get too much into a topic or topics that I cover on my Tuesday morning shows, where I say it's my polite rant, or as polite as I can be, where I call out certain things, but I try to do it in a positive light. Yeah. So just be a little bit different. If at the end of the day you're making visually appealing animals, right? So, your dad, your cousin, your aunt, and a friend of a friend or whatever, will open any of your drawers and go, wow, that looks awesome. And, they don't care that it's a, Enchi pastel acid hypo clown pie. They don't give a crap. They just say, oh, wow, it looks good. So if you can have everything where it's like that, then I think you're doing well. Because people will buy with their eyes. I've seen people turn down something that had more codons in it because the one with less actually looked visually more appealing. And with like polymorphism and things like that, there's a tendency for a good-looking animal visually to sort of produce good-looking animals. It's sort of how people do line breeding in ball pythons and other animals. You take the best of the best and put it together, type of thing. I don't know if I'm going to do that now that you mentioned it, and I think people will figure out. I don't want to poke a bear or anything like that, but that is something that I do want to talk about in general. But I don't know if I'm going to do it Tuesday, Rob. Anyway, I'm going to head off because it is 10 o'clock, and I got to get ready for my day and do some snake work, eat breakfast, and go watch the Penn State game. Anyway, thank you all for tuning in. I will be live Tuesday at 7:30 in the morning for All Things Considered. I haven't nailed down a topic quite yet, but that'll be for about an hour or half an hour to 45 minutes. It depends if I can avoid going into work on time. I don't know if it's election day or not. And if it's election day, I can definitely be late and go a little longer. But I think election day might be the following Tuesday. I should know that given my major. But anyway, thanks for tuning in, and I will see you guys on Tuesday.